Hey, good morning. It is day 131, and it's actually been a few days since my last video. I think the last one was day 127. I was descending off of Mount Cube, had a great day and night before with Whistler, camping on top of Mount Cube, amazing sunset. One of my best days, I think, on the trail so far. And coming down off of Mount Cube, I did something that really aggravated my knee, which started hurting at the beginning of Vermont with the mud. But it seemed like, honestly, it had been getting better. But I did something that day that really made it worse, to the point that I was really hobbling and struggling to get to the trailhead at the end of the day. It was just like a 13-mile day, too. So I made the decision to get off and rest it for a few days. The weather, of course, during that time has just been incredible, which is not always the case in the White Mountains here. So that's been really frustrating, seeing the great weather and not being able to hike. But at the same time, I know it's the right thing to do, to rest. You don't want to go into the toughest terrain on the trail with just a month ago and make things even worse. So, like I said, I've been resting for a couple days. I'm hoping to get back on trail. Today's Wednesday, hoping to get back on trail on Friday, go up and over Moosilauke, and then on to Maine and Katahdin after that, hopefully in about 4 weeks. I did want to take the opportunity for a couple of things. One, thank you, Jen and Larry, for letting us stay at your beautiful house here. You can see the barn in the background. There's the babbling brook right there, fire pit. It beats the heck out of rehabbing at the O'Connell Lodge, that's for sure. And also, I wanted to thank just everyone who has donated to the Evergreen ALS chapter. The donations just have really accelerated over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. And it's been amazing. I'm truly humbled by the generosity of my friends. I'm at a loss for words. I'm not very good in these moments, but it has been motivating for me to get back out there and keep going. It is inspirational. It just is amazing to wake up in the morning and see a new donation. So I'm excited. I'm about, I think about 2/3 of the way to my goal, maybe a little bit more. I think I'm about $3,800. My goal is $5,000 raised, and I've got about 4 weeks left. So if you haven't donated, there's still plenty of time. And as I keep saying, every little bit helps. Nothing is too small. Thank you in advance. And again, to everyone who's already donated, my friends, I can't thank you enough, and I'll find a way to thank each of you individually when I finish, hopefully in about 4 weeks. So I will see you on Moosilauke in a couple of days, and I'll see you on top of Katahdin in about a month or so. Thanks. So this is sort of like Christmas for a thru hiker. I'm going to start on Friday going up and over Moosilauke with a brand new pair of shoes. Don't ask me why I've got some of the old ones, but this will be my 4th pair of shoes on the trail. All Brooks Cascadias. The first pair, which isn't here, I threw out the first pair smartly. They made it up until Daleville, I think, Virginia, so sort of the beginning of Virginia. The second pair is this pair. They made it, not too bad. The tread starts to go first, so right at the bottom. Probably doesn't look that bad, but you can tell when you start to slip a little bit. But they made it up until sort of the beginning of the rocks of Pennsylvania. And this pair, they had it the worst. They had to go through the rocks of Pennsylvania and then the mud of Vermont. And they're pretty worn on the bottom. But they made it all the way up. I probably should have taken them out of play sooner, but they made it all the way up until here, to sort of the New Hampshire border. And then, like I said, this pair is going to take me hopefully to the top of Katahdin here. So I'm going to start with those going over Moosilauke on Friday. So all Brooks Cascadias. First pair I think was the Model 12. These are all 13s, and I ordered them all before I left. Maybe a little teeny bit of extra motivation to make sure that I kept on hiking. I don't want to waste 4 pairs of shoes. It would take me a long time to go through them at home. But also, they're, who would think I'm size 15? And I can't exactly walk into an outfitter and get size 15s easily. So I ordered them all in advance, And like I said, there's that last pair. So new pair of shoes. This is the knee that has been feeling better. Hopefully with a couple more days rest, new shoes, and a knee that's doing better. I'll be on Katahdin here in maybe 4 more weeks towards the end of September. After 5 days of resting my knee, it's day 133. And I'm finally going to go up and over Moosilauke. My knee feels better. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but it definitely feels a lot better. We'll see how it goes today. It's about 9 miles. I'm actually going southbound because the north side of the mountain, which I'm on right now, actually is really steep and can be slippery if it's wet. So it's easier actually to traverse it going southbound. Normally I wouldn't have bothered, but with my knee I figure I'll take every advantage I can get. So I'm going to go southbound over Moosilauke, do the steep part first, and end up back where I finished day 127 back, what was it, 5 or 6 days ago. So it's Friday. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Sun is out, it's clear, and 4 miles to the top, and then 4 miles back down, and of course just slack packing. So hopefully everything will go well with my knee and get this show back on the road. I don't know if you can read that in this light, but it says this trail is extremely tough. If you lack experience, please use another trail. Take special care at the Cascades to avoid tragic results. So I think the story goes that that trail here, like I said, is at the bottom of the northern side of the mountain. So if you're northbound, you don't see that sign until you've already traversed the really difficult part. So I think there's about a mile or two section coming up here that runs next to a waterfall. So it's really steep, gets wet, and can be really dangerous, and just like I said earlier, is easier to traverse going southbound. So we'll see. Well, the camera really doesn't capture it, but there's the Cascades running right next to the trail. And so the trail is just right adjacent to it. I think where it gets a little bit difficult is when the water and the Cascades are running much more strongly, and all this I'm walking over. Although I'm just starting, and I think it goes on for a couple miles. All this I'm walking over gets slippery, but at least so far it's all really dry because the water level is pretty low. Hopefully that'll continue. Really steep though. There you can sort of see the trail goes right up adjacent to the Cascade. Actually not directly next to it there, but going up there. So it kind of goes back and forth between being a little bit back like that to being right next to it. Yeah. handrail. That's nice. Nice touch. As I said before, I don't want to jinx myself, but it hasn't been too bad. These steps make it a lot easier, but I can see where it would be a totally different animal if all this was wet. And the cascade or the waterfall there was really rushing. A whole different deal. That's a view of that part I just came up and was filming from the bottom. And looking at it from here, I can see why it's much easier coming up this direction versus going down in a northbound direction. And if it was wet on top of it, this is challenging, but it'd be much harder if I was going the other direction. That's where I'm headed tomorrow, but down the notch there is where I came from, and I think that's the top of Moose Lock that way. I think I'm just about to break out above the tree line. Yep. Follow the cairns. Summit up there. It's a little bit breezy, but it's completely clear. That's where I'm headed tomorrow. Awesome view. You can tell it's a little bit windy. There's the summit back there. Now headed down over there, I think. There. And 4 miles down to the road. I'm almost down to the bottom of the southern side of Moosilauke. And I think somewhere through here, I know, somewhere on this stretch today, I passed the 1800 marker. Although whoever that marker was technically wrong for me because I'm going southbound. It's all very confusing. Anyway, I'm headed southbound, but I've gone over 1,800 miles somewhere today, and that's all that counts. So, woohoo! Closing in on 2,000. So I've got a few more tents to the trailhead parking, and then maybe another mile to, I think it's Vermont Route 25, where I stopped northbound on day 127. So that'll connect up with where I ended, 5 days ago, I guess it was. So I will see you tomorrow.